to understand that. But before I go into it, I know that we all have been looking at the broadcast and following the news and following on Facebook and things like that. And, there's some really heart-wrenching events that are taking place in the world, not just in Baltimore. We got the earthquakes in Nepal. We've got, unrest everywhere. Mm-hmm. So it's not just there. And so it's at these times when we have to really be careful of our thoughts. I know it's going to sound a little cliche because, people are like, oh, no, this is not the time for it. But this is exactly the time for it. And, let me just give a couple of little fun statistics because I like to share some fun things about ourselves. First of all, our heart begins to beat when we are a fetus way before our brain is even developed. Okay? So that our heart is the first thing that takes an outward manifestation of energy, the pulse, that beating. Okay? And the heart also generates the largest electromagnetic field within our body. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay? And so, I'm always talking about energy and higher frequencies, and that's because it's real. All these things are real. So that, like I said, the heart generates the largest electromagnetic field within our own body. Okay? Mm-hmm. So our emotional information is encoded within those electromagnetic fields. Mm-hmm. So that means that everything that we feel, everything that we sense, whether it's fear, whether it's anger, whether it's happiness, whether it's joy, whether it's sadness, grief, regret, the list goes on and on, whether it's, like I said, joyful or bliss or love, whatever it is, those are all within those electromagnetic fields. So what happens is, as we go through our day and our heart is just, just on a regular heartbeat, we're generating and sending out energy. Okay? Mm-hmm. And that's something that we don't really think about because, our heart just beats at will. So we just, we don't really think about what else it's doing. Not only does it pump blood through our body within, it also generates electromagnetic fields without. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that when we see these images on the screen and we hear these stories, they evoke heart-wrenching sentiments. And that's what they're designed to do. Mm. But we have to be careful because we can reflect it right back. So what I'm saying is that what's going on is definitely a terrible thing. But we can't let it consume us in a way that we start to fight against each other because there's been a lot of words going back and forth, a lot of bickering going back and forth, and we're really losing sight of what's really going on, the bigger picture. Everyone knows that, the civil rights movement, slavery didn't end because they sat down and had a tea party and said, hey, it's time for us to stop this. That's not what happened. In reality, there was a lot of violence. The same with the civil rights movement, same with the Berlin Wall, the same with anything that happened significant that changed the collective consciousness or the collective lifestyle of any group of people did not happen always in a peaceful manner. There was always both going on. Mm-hmm.
That is true. Very true.
But the trick is to, at this time, because we're in a different now altogether, the trick is to, at this time, balance things more in a positive favor. And so what I mean by that is that, we're already going in that direction. You see that there are changes being made with the health. People are now so health conscious. It's crazy and it's wonderful. I have never seen people embracing feeling good, looking good, and doing good the way that they are now in this culture than ever. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. and that's just to show that we're already heading in that direction. And so we have to keep it going in that direction. Yes, it's terrible that they destroying their city and everything, but you also have to understand that generations, they didn't just pop up. They didn't just, come out of nowhere, and in a way they did, because these are the children that were not nurtured. These are the children that were not educated. These were the children that were not fed well. So that they're a completely different generation. They almost had no choice but to rebel. And they serve a purpose.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Everybody can't be out in the street raising hell, but at the same time, it's almost good that they're doing it, because now it allows everyone else to get in position and do what we need to do. And there's where you have that balancing. So that, it's not all so bad. Yes, it's bad that people losing lives, and yes, it's bad that, it kind of looks bad, but it's never going to look as bad as what's really going on.
Okay. No. When you say, there's a dichotomy in terms of what you're saying. Your argument, your background argument, I agree with. The times have changed. When you think about the social networks that are out there, myriad of them. These kids don't sit down and reason. They don't have time to reason. They take the snap information and want to act on it. And we've talked about this in the past on your show, where, for example, if someone was to put something in a Facebook group, rather than reading all the threads and get an understanding as to what happens, somebody else may flare up and start to create tensions. Now, I know the way you framed, the way you've given the narrative of your presentation. We're talking about mainly the things happening over there in Baltimore, where I have a problem is, and I understand fully, because I said one thing the other day and yesterday on my show when I saw a different optics on the airwaves, on the television. I said something else. One thing that really bothered me, when he saw around 50, I would say about 50 kids was tossing a number of rock stones. Because first of all, I didn't know that many rock stones in America. I thought all the rock stones were in Jamaica. Serious business. At these policemen, and the policemen, Sister T, and I know you must have seen it, were backing up. They were backing up. And one and two of the policemen them take stone and was throwing back at these kids. That is a problem, right? Then yesterday, when they come up with these stories about, the gentleman, Mr. Gray, actually bang his own head in the vehicle and start to want to come up with a cover-up. No, you can understand why some of these kids are so frustrated, because they're lying to them all the time. And, these kids are frustrated. So where do we go? In terms of what advice you have as someone who studied these things? What are you going to say to them regard to those things?
The thing with them is, as a parent, because, there's a lot going on, like you said, and there is a dichotomy. And what do you say? You say that we have to keep moving forward and everyone has to play their position. I know it's a hard thing to hear, but they serve a purpose, because what's happened now is that people are now really starting to listen, and they're really starting to hear, and they're saying, wait a minute, what are they talking about? Mm-hmm. Because whereas before it was this little, I don't know if anyone knows the story about Horton Hears the Who, where, the Whoville, they're reaching out, they're getting ready to get crushed, and they're all screaming out, and everybody except for one voice is screaming out. But when that one voice screams out, then all the voices go out. So that, we're all serving a purpose. And that's basically what they've done. Now, their little voice has resonated largely. And the only thing that we can do is let it take its course. I know that's a hard thing to say, but it's not going to be forever. Right. And you know what I'm saying? It's not going to happen forever. As a parent, like when the mom went down there, yes. The only difference is between me and her is that I wouldn't have just taken one, because I assure you, if my son was out there would have been more of his friends. He wouldn't have been out there by himself. So that, you understand what I'm saying? While she's great and wonderful and that's her son and everything, me, I would have been taking I would have boxed up a couple of them and brought them home as well because, you know, everything is not for everybody. And, you know, we have to pick and choose who's on the front line, who's on the second line, and, you know, everybody has their position. So now what happens now is the president said we can't retrain, we can't fire all the police and retrain them. Okay, so then that's not an option. So then we have to now start looking at legislation. Like you said, we have to start looking at the politicians that we're putting in. And I know it's hard because people want immediate results, but we didn't immediately get to this state.
All right, let me ask you this now. It's observation. No, you have a case where, you know, the media focuses mainly on those graphic scenes, those optics that are, you know, riveting, you know, throwing stones, burning places, and so forth. On the other hand, you have people who really and truly want to bond together, come together as a big group and march and make a statement. Are you saying then you tend to get quicker and better responses from the government when you have these violent reactions from the kids versus you have 1,000,001 people marching peacefully?
No, not at all.
I'm
saying that they all work together.
Okay.
I'm saying that they all synergize together and that this is an opportunity for us, the good intentioned people, the ones who are thinking clearly, because that generation clearly is not thinking straight. It's almost like they're in a trance. They're not thinking straight, and that's exhibited by the things that they're doing. They are being destructive. They're destroying their own home. But that's that rage. That's that you know, that unheard energy, that bottled up energy, the unreleased. There's no outlets for them. They have not been taught to think. They've not been taught to rationalize. They've not been given anything good. They've not been shown anything good. And now all they see is that their cousins and their nephews and their uncles and their, you know, this one and their that ones are just dying. And no one is doing anything.
Right.
Okay, so I'm not condoning what they're doing by no means, but what I'm saying is that this is the time for us now to be even stronger in our resolve. We have to resonate together positively. We can't say, oh, look at how terrible, and keep dwelling on each and every little item, you know, every little aspect of the case and stuff, because it takes away from the bigger picture. I mean, I hear what you're saying, and I listen to the news, and I'm already past it. I'm like, okay, but what about the bigger picture? Like you said, so what do we do now? Because it hasn't stopped. And it's not just men that are being killed by police. Women are being killed by the police, too. It's not being broadcast as much on the news, but people are being killed. It's not just men. It's not just women. It's people being killed, and something needs to happen. And usually it is in these times when those things can happen. And so I'm just saying from a metaphysical standpoint, you know, where it's energy and emotions involved, that we can be empowered still. We have to keep our thoughts progressive and moving in that direction. We have to keep the momentum going and understand them, you know, not say, yes, it's good and keep them going, but understand where they've come from and make sure that the next set don't come from that same place.
Okay, Empress, when you came on, you said these things have been happening ages. The president said it the other day that these things have been happening for quite some time. It's nothing new. And here we are probably 50 years later. It appears as if nothing hasn't changed. Now, are you telling me that 25, 50 years from now, we wouldn't be seeing the same thing?
No, I'm not saying that. You mean 25 years from now we won't be seeing the same thing?
Yeah, going forward. Are you saying that 25 years from now, going forward, that we couldn't have the same type of thing where these cops keep just killing people, innocently or not?
Well, it's always going to happen. Anytime you have those types of forces, you know, that's what they're in place to do. So anytime whoever's in charge of those forces decides that, oh, well, okay, today this is public enemy, then that's what they're going to go after. I mean, that's how it's set up until or unless there's a way that we can break through it. And a lot of it has to do with our collective consciousness. Those people are corrupt from the core. But the thing to understand is that they're not such a large group. They're not as large in group of numbers as we who want to live better. And so, and there's where I say that it's being proven with the fight against Monsanto, with the fights against different things, with the electing of a black president. There's little signs that show us that, our mass is strong, but we have to be confident in our masses, and that's what's the difficulty. And I know this sounds so, like la-di-da and very magical and mystical, but it is sometimes just as easy as that. The energies that we reverberate are what's going out, so that it's just enough to just think positive and say that we know that we're going to overcome this step. This is just one step in it. We're not going to stay here. This is not going to stay here. And 25 years from now, they're going to be rebelling against something else. So that life is constantly changing and evolving. And, it's that pressure that makes that diamond. It's that roughness. It's that fight. Everything can't stay contained all the time. Even the same with energy. Planets are made the same way. It's the burst that creates the planet. It doesn't just stay in one state. So that we're going to constantly have these things. It's not going to be like, oh, we have this fight today and then that's it. Mankind is going to be peaceful forever. It's always going to be something to rebel against or to fight against, so long as mankind is living together. It's many different people, many different feelings, many different individual consciousness trying to be a collective consciousness. So, it's never going to end.
Yeah, one of the things for me, listening to what's happening there in Baltimore, and it's not only in Baltimore, a lot of these inner cities, maybe even in Jamaica, a lot of these places, the socioeconomic condition of some of these people. I've told the story before. When I was up in New Jersey, I usually teach math, physics, and chemistry. And at one point, I had 10 kids that I was teaching. No. They have the system set up in such a way. And this particular school had 99% black students, a couple of Hispanics, and Caucasian students. Now, one of the things they have set up at that school system, right, is that, and the kids that I had were challenged kids, basically. They weren't, they were behind, they weren't sharp and so forth. But I remember, and they usually appreciate my teaching because I present a lot of passion and show them different techniques, how to learn some of the stuff and so forth. But I remember giving exams, and a couple of the students got like 27%, right, out of 100, 27%, basically. And I remember when I presented the scores to the supervisor, it was a math class. To the math supervisor, he pulled me one side and said, "Mr. Brown, we have a policy here, student get below 50, we can't record it. So he said, me must get the students score from 27 to 51, because that's the only way they get their fundings. They will lose money." I'm then saying, no, we can't do that. I'd be cheating the kids then. No, I could never do that. And I think that's one of the problems when you look in some of these schools. Many of them kids are Sister T, and you know it, because you're an educator, you know your stuff. These kids, they just get pushed through the system.
Yeah.
And they have no sense of reasoning of anything. Nowadays,
no tools whatsoever. No tools whatsoever to navigate the system. And that's why I said those, in a way, you can't give them fault in a way, because what have they learned? What have we given that generation really? Nothing.
Exactly. And we're losing 1, 2, 3 generations. You saw in Georgia, you saw in Georgia here, where they had to lock up a ton load of these students for cheating. And in my opinion, this is just me still, Me think each of them should have get 50 years. Each of them teachers that were cheating these kids to make money for themselves, they each should have gotten 50 years. Set examples, and
there's a lot of corruption going on.
Exactly. Set example, and these things would not be happening throughout the globe. Same thing with these policemen that are killing these innocent people. They need to give them life sentence. They need to go to speedy trial and all this cover up. Do you know that even up to today, and this innocent with Freddie Gray happened over about 10 days ago, and up to now, the driver of that van has not given a report. We have a call coming in.
No statements at all.
No statement.
Nothing.
We have a call.
And then
We have a call coming in. Caller, good morning. How you doing? You're live with EmpressTee on High Frequency. Do you have any input to what she's saying? Go ahead. Hello, caller. All right. Seems like we've lost that caller there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know that it's filled with cover-ups and stuff, and there's going to be filled with cover-ups and stuff. And so what I'm saying is that while we have this magnificent momentum, and while the earth is watching, and while everyone's hearts are in full connect with this situation, this is a time to use our energy, to use some of our mystical, spiritual energy is all that I'm saying, and not let it get us too down, but let it, empower us and ignite us to, to keep it going forward and understand that, this is how we get from A to B to C to D. Some people might say, no, well, we haven't made any progress since, 20, 30 years, but we really have. I mean, look we're on the phone. We've got internet. We're in our homes. You know what I'm saying? We can drive. We can do a lot of things that we couldn't do. We can vote. We don't have to. We've got a black president. So we have made some strides. Are we where we want to be? No. It's going to take some time. But are we on the way? Yes. Can we get held back? Yes. If we get caught up on all these little specifics that they want us to get tripped up on, that's what they do. They always redirect us and distract us with all this nonsense and this violence. And yes, we are doing it too. But as I'm saying, in a way, it needs to be done, but we have to keep the momentum going forward. We can't just focus and dwell on that. All the other people still have to get in position and do what needs to be done.
All right,
we have to still get our children educated. We see the results of when we don't, when we just leave it to the TVs and to the teachers who just want paychecks.
All right, EmpressTee, let me ask you this then. And listeners, if you'd like to call in and chime in, whatever your thoughts are, the number here is 770-744-2154, 770-744-2154. EmpressTee, covering a little bit of what's happening today. The question is being asked, what is right? What is wrong? What is good? What is lawful? What can one do in public? What is beautiful? What is possible? Yeah, unspoken, unquestioned value systems, belief systems, collective depression, suspicion, paranoia, hatred, fear, your heartbeat pumping so hard that you have to go there and get involved with the madness. Let me ask you this question. The president, Barack Obama, apparently used the word thugs to describe some of those kids that were, involved with the stone throwing and burning and so forth and so on. And the mayor of Baltimore used the same term. No, my question to you is, I'm not sure how you'll answer this, but if it were you, if you were the mayor or the president, is that a word that you'd use? And if you did use it, based on the pressure that came after, would you have reversed course if I'm calling them, the name that you did, that they did?
Well, here's the thing, Rula. I don't, in my everyday life, I don't use that word. That wasn't my generation. So I never would have. And, perhaps I can't read his mind. I don't know why he used that word. And you know what I'm saying? He probably was just trying to reach out or to be, relevant and current in his language so that when he's talking, and at the same time, he said so much that for them to just harp on one word takes away, again, like I said, from the bigger picture.
Right.
And that's what they do, and that's what they want us to do, and bicker, and now we, he shouldn't have said that word. We have been called worse for how long? So that song, it doesn't even matter. Let's not talk about what they were called. Let's talk about what they were doing and why. And what we need to do to stop it. Right, whether they thugs, whether they bugs, whether they rugs, I don't even care anymore. We need to move forward. We can't keep...
We have someone calling in to add to the discussion. Caller, good morning. Welcome. Please say your name and where you're calling from. If you'd like to join on the discussion.
Yeah. My brother, what's going on, man?
Yes, indeed. How are you doing?
Empress, good morning to you.
Good morning. Who is it, Patrick?
Yes, it is. Yes, it
Big
is.
man, Mr. Patrick from Inbox Media Group, sir. Boy, so glad to hear the last time you were on, we had a powerful dialogue. So joining, and based on what you're hearing, what would you like to add or ask the questions of EmpressTee? Go ahead, please.
Well, I think we're addressing this situation wrongly. We are being reactive instead of being proactive. So, what you're seeing...
Brother Patrick, 1 second, please. 1 second, Brother Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
If you can turn down your device behind you, because we're getting it feeding back through.
And, yes, definitely. Yeah. We're moving from that.
Yeah, man. Right,
we're actually broadcasting as we're going.
Yeah, no, you're broadcasting on your network.
right now, yeah.
Yeah, man. And ladies and gentlemen, this is Patrick from Inbox Media Group. We're being heard currently. Let me just give a quick rundown on the station. JamaicaRadio.com, Ruler Brown Network, CRS Radio, Caribbean Radio Show, The Flavor Radio, Foundation Radio Network, 25th Century Radio, Irizine Radio, Scotcher P Radio, Party Hype Radio in Baltimore, TuneIn Radio, Mixler Radio, Vibes Urban Radio in Huddersfield in the UK, Mighty Radio in Manchester in the UK, One Harmony Radio in London, Reggae Nostalgia, Ustream TV, Inbox Media Group, Real Rockers, 1095 Jams, and those listening on the telephone 213-401-0061. And you're listening to...
You are listening to RBN, Ruler Grounds Network.
All right, Brother Patrick, take it away now. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I think we are basically going at this in the wrong manner. And because we are being reactive, what you're seeing on the TV is a reactive nature of our people instead of being proactive in the matter. See, the thing is, if we sit back and do nothing, nothing will get done. And bottom line is, we see how if you want things to be done, you have to get out there and do it. America did not come to this country and sat down with the Indians and said, boy, I beg you for this, I beg you for that. You understand? No, I am not trying to say that we should go to war. We are smarter than that now. See, this is not about black or white, so we shouldn't even have the conversation about black and white in this time, right now. This is 2015. This is not a black and white issue anymore. This is a green issue. This is a green issue from even back then in slavery. We know if you were black and you had the money, you could have buy your way to freedom.
Exactly.
So therefore, it is no longer no justice, no peace. How about no justice, no commerce? You understand? No justice, no commerce. So therefore, let's unite, because unite and unity run the thing. We know if we unite, they have a party. I just went to Pennsylvania the other day and the place, listen, Jamaica got robbed in one of the races routes. I'm going to get up and tell the people that it shouldn't be, it was Jamaica, the female, U.S. versus the world. But when I look in the stadium, it's all Jamaicans in the stadium. So I'm saying to myself, why can't be Jamaica versus the world?
Good point.
Why are we not supporting ourselves?
Maybe because they're the host. Maybe because it's a host country. Maybe is that what?
It is the host country, yes. But we dominate. But
it's our world. I understand what you're saying, Patrick, and you're absolutely right. And it is our world, and so. Now, where all eyes are on us, it's particularly important that we don't fight amongst each other and do all the, perpetuate the ugliness. This is the time, like you said, to do stuff now.
This is time for unity. And if there's one thing that I see that, I went to school for business. And, what I've been always taught is that there's no bad publicity. You understand? There is no bad publicity. Publicity is publicity. It gets you out there. There's nothing bad about it. And what I think everyone is not seeing from, our kids going out there, this generation going out there, and the looting and the burning down of CVS and everything like that, what they're not seeing is actually the television showed it. A young man got up and he says he's from the Bloods. And you check how powerful this is, Ruler. He's from the gang, the Bloods gang,
right?
And he knew Mr. Gray personally. They went to school together. And he is on the front lines, letting everyone from the rival gang, the Crips, know that now is the time for us to stop fighting each other, put our little squabbles to the side, and time to unite. We need to listen to our youth.
Yep.
Yeah, and
So
look,
if
it took them to get, like I said, to get people to start listening. You know, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Unfortunately, you know, sometimes temper tantrums get our attention. But now the key is we've got their attention. What are we going to do?
So here is what we need to do. We need to stop. You see, the thing is, the reason why we don't get the services within our community that we desire, that we want, is because we freely go out and give our money away. The dollar of that from the community, the black dollar, only circulates in our community once. You get paid, and the Chinese is in there. They take it because you go buy the Chinese food. You understand? The French and everybody else is in your community, and they just come and they take it. Listen, you're not see one black man store in a Chinatown because you would never get support.
Yeah. And no black
so
stores
our money
anywhere.
Comes in anywhere. So they come in and they take the money out the community, and we become the biggest commodity for this country. Let's call it what it is. Yeah. We are the biggest commodity for this country. So no, you want little respect? Shut it down.
Yeah.
Stop buying for a day. Let's unite. How about this? Empress, I'm on a roll. Hold on. How about we decide and unite and say, you know what? For today, we not buy Wonder Bread if Wonder Bread's still about. I don't know if Wonder Bread's still about. But for today, we not buy no milk. Or for today, we not buy no sugar. And make the industry of the sugar industry take a hit and say, you know what? We need to start respect them people, yeah, because if them not buy my product, then me not get to fly my plane and carry my kids go off to them private school. Mm-hmm. You understand? How about uniting for that?
And that's what's been going on. Like you see it going on with the fights against Monsanto. Monsanto owns most of those companies, and that's what I'm saying. The momentum is going, and so what we've got to do is not let the little specifics of what's going on, how we're getting it, the catalyst to where we need to go, keep us from getting there. Is what I've been saying. The moves, just like Patrick said, we have to keep making more financial statements. I mean, they did it for Christmas. They did it for Black Sunday. And, what is it, Black Friday? They did it for Black Friday, right. So that we have seen that we do have a voice. And like I said, the kids, they're saying we have a voice too. And basically what I'm saying is that we've got to keep the momentum going. We can't stop now and start fighting amongst each other. We can't get depressed. We can't feel like we're losing because we've only just begun.
Well,
and you have to check out the words, Black Friday, only black people go buy on Friday.
let me say this. Let me say this, man. I've been in this country 40 years, right? And I've been hearing some of the same arguments you guys have been making. One of the problems with this is that, for example, the example you just gave, let's boycott one of the Friday. Yeah, okay, them lose some money one of the Friday, but the Saturday, the day after them go buy. What's the difference? I don't think people.
No, I don't think it was that. And Rula, I know what you're saying, but in reality, and from what I've been hearing from talking to people, I don't think it's like that anymore. And
you don't think
goodness for the internet, because true, there are still that ignorant core group that wanted, keep spending their money, but people are starting to change. The collective consciousness is changing. We are seeing that we do have financial power, and what we have to do is keep it going, keep encouraging it.
But that's my point. But you're just making my point. But that's exactly my point I'm trying to make. I do agree, for one, that we do have financial power. But on the other point I'm trying to make is that I don't think it keeps going. I mean, if you come in any communities over here in Atlanta, if you go to certain communities where strictly black businesses, them don't get the support, but make you have a Korean store have some stuff there. In the full
some hair weave and nail goods, right?
Yeah, in the full up. So I mean, we could preach this over and over. The question is, what is it gonna take for people
It's going to take people within the community to step up, to feel confident with the 2 cents that they have and say, well, look, my 2 cents and your 2 cents, we got 4 cents. Okay, look, let's keep it going. Okay, our 4 cents and maybe his 1 cent and maybe his half a cent. We have to, that's what it's going to take. You know, people are afraid to make a move. People don't know. We're ambivalent right now because we're looking at these examples of the young kids saying that, well, that's not what I want to do. And then we're looking at other examples saying, well, I don't have the money to do that. But, you know, what you don't realize is that it just takes one step. Like you said, what can you do? Maybe it just takes one person in the community to say, you know what, I'm going to start a group. I'm going to get 2 or 3, 4 people. All it takes is 1 or 2 people. And from that, you add on. This one bring the wife will bring the neighbor will be the friend, the cousin. And, you know, it just takes one person.
All right. We have another call coming. I'm going to add this person to the phone line and see what the caller. Caller, you're live with... caller, you're live? Hello? Hello, caller.
Yeah, Ruler.
Oh, we dropped you. We lost it for a moment there. Sorry about that, man. Yeah,
man.
And actually, I wanted to say something that SWA is saying, and it's true that they, you know, other communities and throughout time, it seems like, have always come together in a way that we have not been able to. And what I'm saying is that while we are resonating, whether it's through the angst of watching, you know, our children fighting and our men folk being slaughtered and, you know, this unrest that's going on, while we have this energy and the current going, we have to keep the momentum. We have to start to come together. This is it. We have to keep having talks like this. We have to go to our churches right now, although we know they're part of it, of the corruption sometimes too. That's the largest meeting place. We have to get out there and talk. Don't be afraid to talk.
All right. Well, okay, folks, it's 13 minutes after the 11. Going to take it down for another 17 minutes to 11:30. And you're listening to EmpressTee with HigherFrequency. And we have the one and only Patrick from Inbox Media Group. And we're streaming over there once again. Good evening, good afternoon to all the listeners over there in Inbox Media Group, coming out of New York City. Let me ask you this. And I'm going to ask both of you. My general observation, and the question comes to you this way. Do you think that for businesses, black businesses, whatever business, and I can make it generic, do you think that if the performances, the professionalism, the services, do you see a difference if you were to go to some black businesses that are running their thing versus another group of people are running theirs? I'm just curious to hear. Let me hear from you, Patrick, because you're over there in New York City, and I know you probably do most of your businesses amongst the Caribbean community there. But my question is, do you think in general, or have you observed that quality services in general you'll get from black folks or minorities are not as good as someone else?
Absolutely. I am actually driving right now. I came out the studio. I'm actually running to meet a sister because she's bringing her vehicle to the mechanic, and I have to go there as a man to assist her because I know for a fact walking into that mechanic shop with a Benz, the price is going to be doubled and tripled for her.
For a woman, you see?
But that has more to do with gender issues. That's something different.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No, this particular situation is gender. You're right. But overall, I find that the integrity of our people is not there because they're more in for the dollar than the service that they provide. You understand? So wherein you would go to another establishment and they know the strength of business and the meaning of providing good service and repeat business coming from it.
Absolutely.
Most of our people apparently only see this, you know, what I would have said, right, right in front of your nose.
Yes, big man. I agree with you.
You understand? So because they only see what's in front of them nose, boy, may I take a $200 off of you right now?
Yeah.
May I take a $200? They don't worry about tomorrow. They can't see tomorrow. So therefore, the integrity of a business model they don't have, and that is what's killing our folks. That's what's stopped me. I have to tell, when I go into an establishment, and it's not, the white man over there should do it for less.
Right.
The white man may do it for less, but I'm not going to my people because they don't know. When you don't tell me I'm going to get it in 1 day, and then when I bring the vehicle to you, it takes me 3 days.
Yes.
You understand? So the integrity of doing what you say and saying what you're going to do is the thing that's killing us in making business work. And then on top of it, we don't know how to unite. And going back to what you were saying, because I'm going to jump off soon. Going back to what you were saying, Ruler, we need, we have not been taught to unite. We have not been taught to come together and make this thing work where, as you say, you're right. We stop for 1 day, but then tomorrow, next week, we go back and we OD next week. So therefore, what the white establishments miss today, they make up for it in a week or two.
Absolutely.
Right? How about this? We need a banner. We need a platform to stand on, and then we start that and then push that, and then sooner or later more and more people will come to that. There's people out there who's willing to do, but you can't ask people to do when they have not been taught how to do. It's like asking a baby to walk and they never walked before. So they're going to creep, they're going to fall, they're going to stumble. So if we put trailing wheels, though, on the bicycle and say, go ahead and ride, people will come. Some go and ride and jump off, some go and ride on stairs, but eventually everyone will come on board. So we need that platform. We need that banner, that flag for everyone to unite behind for this thing to work. And Big Brother, keep up the good work. This is Inbox Media Group. This is St. Patrick. I'm in love, your brethren. We need to song and talk. Empress,
yeah, man.
Be good.
I wish.
I just want to say something, Ruler.
Yeah.
I agree and I disagree. As far as like what you're saying with big business versus small business, I feel that at this point, all business lacks integrity. Because if you speak to some consumers of color in New York who go to, say, the Korean and Asian fruit markets and to the hair shop and nail shop, they will tell you that they lack integrity as well, and that they just want our money. So that we're not getting any better quality of service or business from anyone, whether it's small or big. I mean, I can go into a big Walmart and feel like a lost consumer, like I'm just money rolling in the door. I might as well be a quarter rolling through the aisles, because there's no more personal service. I think that what's happened is that, just in general, money has taken such a precedence that we no longer see the person. We no longer see the consumer. It's no longer an issue or consequence. We don't even care. They don't even care. They've gotten away with so much through marketing that we're no longer of consequence. What do they care if they give good service? We're still going to spend.
Yeah, I wasn't even making that comparison so much with a Walmart versus another way named. I was just talking.
But no, I'm saying even in between with our own businesses. I mean, here he's saying that black businesses don't really, they're all about the money, they're all about the dollar. But I feel like whether it's black, whether it's Asian, everybody has that same incentive. They're all about the dollar. They've all got the taxes. They've all got the same, you know what I'm saying?
That is true, but the point here is...
If it's a blanket statement, I apologize if you think it's a blanket statement or if it came across as such. I mean, the majority is different from a blanket. You know what I'm saying? You're going to find in people without integrity in every nation. It's like on every tree, you're going to find a bad apple.
Exactly.
I understand that.
So that my point was that more so we need training so that we can do better, because we can't just say that, oh, it's a black thing or a white thing. You just said yourself that we've not been trained as a people. And
one thing.
We were slaves, so we were not trained financially. So perhaps that's something we need to incorporate into
all right, one second, please.
Financially train our people to make better decisions.
1 second. I was just about to say Patrick is driving, and I think the road noise was coming in on the broadcast and didn't sound good. But I think he picked up on that and he dropped off. I'm telling you, when we observe for a number of years I've been here. I mean, I'm going to tell it as it is. Some people might think, well, hogwash, but I'm going to tell you how I've seen it. You see, for example, say you have a little man, a black man, have a little business, say I'm going to build some website for you, right? If you go to him for build some website to you, him tell him I'm going to charge you $100 for build a website, and I'm going to give him 2 days. You know him do? He want give it to you in 5 days and want to charge a lot more money. There is no way.
And you want 90 up front and all that stuff. Yeah, because it's a different experience.
It's not a matter of experience though. But the point that Patrick was making is that these people need to exercise professionalism, man. And that's the only way you'll get repeat customers. You know. You see,
it's true.
Right, and I think if people were to do that, right, exercise professionalism, deal with the customers right, you will get repeat customers. Because I will tell somebody else that, you know what, I went over there, it's kind of expensive, but guess what? Because most people, most of the time, you know, they want that service. You know, you go to somebody to do something for you, they do it right than the gate is run around and it's long. I can tell you.
And it's true, but at the same time, you know, they might not get but one customer in a week. So, like he said, they're more with the, well, let me hit them while I got them here. Let me get as much as I can get. And unfortunately, that's the way the economy is. So that, you know, but in the same token, like he said, if we can come together and build forums, and we have to have leadership, because we have to have people that say, okay, well, look, so-and-so's got this business. Brother David has the guitar store over here. We're having a special, or we're having an outing over there, you know, to generate people going over to the business. We have to, you know, we definitely have to start uniting and coming together. But at the same time, we have to not be so afraid to come together. You know, there's a lot of things that are going on, but the key that I wanted to gear toward today, my key point was that now, at a time when energy and emotions are high, is the time to intentionally do good. This is when we can do it, because we have a lot of powerful energy from everyone, and it can go either way. And that, you know, to keep the thoughts and the plans positive, so that whichever it is that we decide to do to get us moving forward, it will go, because our thoughts are more hopeful, as opposed to feeling like, oh, these kids are messing it up for us. Oh, Nepal, the earthquake, the earth is just terrible. You know, we got Monsanto. You know, don't feel like it's all bad. Just understand that it's all part of it.
Let me just add some comments in the chat from the chat room. Diana Rose, and again, what's a big up to Patrick from Inbox Media Group. He's driving there, going to help somebody, because him know so them people are going to charge him sister in a whole lot of money. Diana Rose says, us black people really don't support each other, and that is everywhere. She also went on to say, we really don't support each other. Yeah, simply. And yes, some unfair business people, which make it better for the other black people, for the other black businesses. And, you know, I have tried to have some black folks, Jamaican folks, come at my house. Breaking news, there's some breaking news coming on. Just see that breaking news is coming on. Let me see if I can pick up on that. Sorry about that, EmpressTee. I know it's your thing. No crime had been committed by Mr. Gray. Breaking news, I think that's what she's talking about. Homicide. And she says, no crime had been committed by Mr. Gray. Charges for 6 officers. Second-degree murder, manslaughter, and assault. Come from Phenomenal Children radio station. I just picked up all of that. You see what I mean? And Empress, and the point... we don't condone what they did, but at the same time, we almost needed them to do it, because, you know, we can't be so complacent, and at the same time, everybody can't be out running in the street. You understand what I'm saying? So that it serves the purpose. Mm-hmm. No, I agree. No, and I agree. For listeners, it's 25 minutes after. We just get some breaking news regarding the Freddie Gray situation. A homicide has been committed. And they said no crime had been committed by Mr. Gray. No crime had been committed by Mr. Gray. Charges for 6 officers and second-degree murder, manslaughter, and assault. is what's coming on. Baltimore State's Attorney, we have a probable cause, and we're going to give you a little
Pinnacle
we're going to give you a little running out of time. And folks, this is part of the higher frequency, and this is really high frequency. Going to give you some verbiage coming out of Baltimore regarding this particular situation. Stand by.
Once alerted about this incident on April 13th, investigators from my police integrity unit were deployed to investigate the circumstances surrounding Mr. Gray's apprehension. Over the course of our independent investigation in the untimely death of Mr. Gray, my team worked around the clock, 12 and 14-hour days, to canvass and interview dozens of witnesses, view numerous hours of video footage, repeatedly reviewed and listened to hours of police videotape statements, surveyed the route, reviewed voluminous medical records, and we leveraged the information made available to us by the police department, the community, and the family of Mr. Gray. The findings of our comprehensive, thorough, and independent investigation, coupled with the medical examiner's determination that Mr. Gray's death was a homicide, which we received today, has led us to believe that we have probable cause to file criminal charges.
Yes, folks, I want to thank SAA for giving us a heads up. Empress, your reaction to what you hear? Go ahead, please.
I am elated. I do not, as I said, I think that was one of the first things that I said, that I do not condone the violence or the looting or anything. And I even said that I would probably have been down there, not just collecting mine, but a couple of, some of his friends boxed them up and brought them on home too, because everybody has a different calling in life. And, we have to pick and choose what they are. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, as things are trying to be balanced, sometimes in the unbalance is how we get that balance, so that, things have been going wrong for too long. And that was probably the straw that broke the camel's back. Again, I do not condone it, right? But I understand it. And sometimes if you can understand things, you can transcend and move forward. And so what's happening is that I don't want people to waste so much energy, worrying about the little specifics of it. You know what I'm saying? Look, it's already been resolved. So now we can move forward. That's like a sign from the universe. I see it as a sign from the universe that, now the people who have the good intentions, to mobilize and take action. This is the time.
Let me ask you this. Say going forward, Freddie Gray, number 3 in Boston, in Atlanta, similar type of situation. And at the outset, it doesn't look like justice is going to come about. Do you think that you could have a similar type of reaction? Because they're going to say, well, okay, we burned down that place. We were really violent.
It's very possible. It's very possible. And see, who has to think about that are the politicians. That's not for me to think about. We already know the answer. You know the answer.
Right.
You know the answer. We know the answer to that, just like they know the answer to that. So now, again, it's an opportunity to see how we move forward with it. Are we going to get stuck with all the little nonsense and let them keep doing it? Or are we going to really take this opportunity and run with it? Right. All eyes are on us. I wanted to say one other thing that I didn't get to say was that the earth resonates. The earth on its own, without us doing anything, has its own frequency, and it resonates at a similar frequency to our heart, our brain, and our nervous system. And so what I was trying to say is that if we're all thinking nervously and feeling, nervous energy, that's what we're generating back to the earth. That's what it's going to generate back to us. We need to calm down and understand the mechanics of change, the mechanics of progression. Nothing has ever really come about without some type of struggle. Nothing good, nothing wonderful. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be some type of struggle.
All right, and I know Mr. Lindsay probably going to have this covered on his show later. Remember, 2 o'clock here brings you the top 30 charts on the Foundation New York chart, and listen out for where Dabby Dabs and Rule Around song seems to me I'm winning, going to be positioned. Last week after 4 weeks, number 17. And Diana Rose adds in the chat room, about time some justice come forth. Well done, not condoning wrongdoings. Enough is enough. And you know, let me add one other thing. We saw the other day, right? The other day, and I forget where this took place, where this police officer run down the little 50-year-old man, right, and shot him in his back. Now, there was swift actions taken by the government officials to say, yes, we're going to charge this man with murder. We're gonna not pay him. And you see, there was no violence from that. And I think all people want is some fairness, some justice, rather than this cover-up. Because you could tell there was some cover-up happening. One of the things came out of this thing with Freddie Gray. Apparently, when they wrote their first report, right, they said that they made 3 stops, either 2 or 3 stops. But guess what? They made an additional stop, and they did not record it in the reports. You know how it was found out?
Technology.
Technology, exactly. A camera. Somebody's camera was there, picked them up, and saw what was going on. So just from that, you could tell they killed the dude. So I tell you, I agree. I don't condone the violence. At some point, though, I think if people, and again, like you say, it's a combination of it. It's those kids burning down the place, stoning the cops, and also those people marching and protesting in a manner of non-violence. So, all right.
So it's everything that works together, you know, and like I said, but the main thing is that we have to stay rooted in our thought processes. We can't, you know, fight against each other. We can't, I mean, okay, he said thug. I mean, my goodness, it's one word out of how many words did he say? You know what I'm saying? Are we going to really get stuck on that, or are we going to try and move forward and support him? He's in a powerful position where we don't have much time sometimes with things, and, you know, we can't always just waste it.
Indeed, indeed. Finally, some justice.
That's why I love your song, you know?
Yeah. Which one of my songs you love? Which one of my songs you love? Sing for me now. Can you have a big singer? Why you sing for me now? All right, folks, if anybody would like to call in, we have about 2 more minutes. If you'd like to call in and just add anything, make a comment to what you heard in terms of the report coming from Phenomenal Children Radio broadcast, you can let us know. But again, we also want to thank Patrick from the Inbox Media Group for calling in and chiming in. Every week, the brother calls in and provides some excellent input to some of these topics that EmpressTee decided to call. So again, we have another 2 minutes. If someone would like to call in, the telephone line's still open. The numbers, we're at 58 minutes as far as this broadcast is concerned. So we have another 2 minutes. If you'd like to call in, the number is 770-744-2154. We're going to do a little mini-ting on Benny King right after this. Empress, talk to me. Wind it up. Wind it down for me, please.
I just feel, I don't know if it's higher frequency or what, but it's just fantastic that ruling came in the middle of this segment.
You know what I mean? And then the other day, you and I talked about, you always talk about the Monsanto and the NGO, is it NGO? Not
the GMO.
GMO. And then Dr. Hartz the other day came out licking shot against some of these doctors. So you guys need to listen to RBN, man. Maybe them people up in Baltimore is listening to you. What do you think?
I think somebody is. That's why this time I didn't do a plug. I didn't want them to know what I was going to talk about so that I could test the higher frequency.
Indeed.
And I got my ruling. And again, you know, we can't, everything is not always so negative, you know, so that we don't want to run with the negative energy. Those people that do those negative things, those greedy ones, we all know it's but a few of them. We are more in numbers, even if just in our positive thought alone can defeat them. We don't have to do anything but think positive and think correctly. And with that alone, we can change the collective consciousness. And the collective consciousness is nothing more than everyone thinking, feeling, and looking great. And so far, I think we're headed in that direction.
Well, you know, for the most part, I agree with what you're saying. And, you know, if we all come together. But my thing is this, Sister EmpressTee, many, woolly for them people, they're very, very selfish. Nobody know we use the word unite, but nobody knows how to unite. So they probably weren't trained. They say the mother just stabbing somebody else, stabbing somebody's meaning, just being hypocritical against somebody. It's just not want to unite, do the right thing. And they see that and think that that's the right thing to do. That's the way to go. And it's going to take a while for people to change their attitude like that, because that is one of the problems.
I think with the internet, I think things happen a lot quicker than we can even imagine. I think that we're going to start to see a big change. I mean, I never would have imagined that the fight against Monsanto, I mean, in just a year or two, it's only been a year or two that people have been talking about Monsanto. Yeah, and they've been hitting them. They've been hitting them hard.
Yeah, but that's a Monsanto thing. I'm talking from the socio-economic situation in terms of people's
I'm using
behavior.
it as an example because Monsanto is connected. Monsanto is like a small atom in the large world.
Yeah, but I am more thinking in terms of many of these young kids who have no respect for people, no respect for nothing, don't want to work hard. After you change that,
yes, we can change it. We can change it through example, through changing lifestyles. Once we get our food together, once we get our economics together, and people come back to a more holistic way of living, family structure gets back in place, because that's what they're missing. They're not grounded. It's something that I've always said. We're not grounded.
I think we've slipped down a slippery slope, way down the slope. It's so hard to get back up that slope. Pour oil and grease upon the vision going back up that slope.
Not me, man. I'm going to keep rising up on a higher frequency. I don't care how much oil is on it.
I hear you,
The sun can dry up that oil, and I'll be the brightest sun ever.
Yes,
to dry up every drop of oil.
I agree with what you're saying. If you look and think in what's happening in Jamaica and in America, and people just have senses to kill people, I am always an optimist, but trust me, I'm going to be a optimist at that point anyway.
You can't be the head of palace. You know that deep down in your heart, you harbor a great, great, great hope for mankind, and you know it's going to happen. It may not be tomorrow, but we're going to get there.
Yeah, well, I hopefully get there. You have to end up on a good note. I want to thank you for putting it that way. All right. So, 30 seconds. Wrap it up. Are you going to sing for us again? Talk to me. You have a great voice, Okay, into the studio.
Yes, I will. Love is all I bring.
Just few words. Oh, you're gone. So, all right.
I can't sing. I told you.
No, man, you sing good, man. You're commercial player. You sing and all right, folks.
Only thing I want is for people to unify. Really, come together. People love each other. Have the hope. We've got it. It's going.
Indeed.
It's going.
Indeed. Never look down upon a man if you can help him up. If you give a man a fish, you don't do him nothing. You have to teach him.
Exactly.
Indeed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the one and only EmpressTee. Want to thank her so much. If you hear the song playing, you know what it means. A sense of purpose. Because that's how she deals with positiveness, higher frequency. Thank you so much, Mr. Patrick from Inbox Media Group. Thank you for calling in. Blessed love.